James Turner for the untouchable, true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. Michigan's own Rais Aleem. What's up, brother Rais? How you doing?
What's up, man? Hey, feel good. I'm glad to be back. Back in action.
Been a while since we seen you. You back, but where you been?
Hey, man, I've been in the gym. I've been in the dark room grinding. All these fights that fell through. I stayed in shape. Stayed on my diet, just grinding. Couldn't get a fight.
What fights fell through?
I was supposed to fight Figueroa last year at T-Mobile.
Okay.
We was locked in. We was in camp for like 40 days, and then they moved the fight from May to February on the Thurman card, on the Timzu card.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, you feel me? Like, we already talked about that. I had COVID, whatever. So they said, all right, if we can't find nobody else, y'all still fight. He chose to fight Magdaleno. I lost that fight. A few other fights fell through, but that was the highest profile.
Okay.
What you got to do to get back on the winning side of things, Rais?
Dominate. I got to go out there and be me. I got to show people who the beast is, So my last fight was cool. I dominated that fight. I fought in November. But, this is Vegas, you know what I'm saying? I got to show everybody who Rais Aleem is, put on the show. And I want the big names, I want Espinoza, Angelo Leo, Shushu Carrington. Shushu, he got to come see me. You know what I'm saying? So we got to dominate.
I know Stephen Fulton hasn't officially moved up yet. He's talked about it, but I know that's a fight you've wanted for a long time.
I mean, I've been chasing Fulton for the longest. You know what I'm saying? If we can make the fight happen, we can make it happen. But he talked about 130, so I'll end up moving up to 130 eventually. But right now, it ain't the right time. I gotta make a splash at 26. I gotta win the title at 26 before I even think about it.
What would you say is like the biggest difference between you as a super bantamweight and now a featherweight?
It's not a big difference, it's always a struggle to make weight, you know what I'm saying, regardless. I'm a little fat kid, you know what I'm saying, so that's always a struggle, but it's just discipline, it is what it is, making a goal and making that shit happen.
Okay, you mentioned a lot of the big names, right? Is there one that stands out over the others that you want?
I want the title fight, Angelo Leo, great fighter, he's a dog, Espinoza, 6 foot, whatever, you know what I'm saying, I chop that tree down, and Carrington, he's not a world champ, but, he's got some belts, you know what I'm saying, so if I gotta beat him to get that shot, we can make that shit happen.
I think you and Shushu make a lot of sense because he keeps saying that a lot of the champions don't want to fight him. Exactly. So if a lot of champions don't want to fight him, you're a proven veteran, you're a contender, that makes sense.
Yeah, hey, I want to fight all the big names, we can make that shit happen. But, I gotta get through this fight, I can't look past this opponent. Gotta dominate, but yeah, for sure. I'm calling Shushu out, Leo, everybody. I'm here. I'm at 26 now. I need the top names. I'm a top fighter.
Yeah, you're one of. Go.
We talk about domination, man. Just to close it out for me, one of the most dominant forces here in Las Vegas, Inoue, invades America. What do you think about Inoue fighting style? What's your favorite part about his game?
He has extremely high boxing IQ, sharp footwork. He has power, but he has the power from his base. He's always on balance. Just a real sharp fighter. I was that close to getting that fight. But just super explosive, high IQ, great footwork, sharp. You gotta be A++. So when you do make a mistake, that one mistake can put you down because you got that type of power. So just a generational talent. Every fighter should want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Just because you want to be in the sport of boxing to fight the best. You want to beat the best. All these cherry-picking fake champs out here, they need to step aside for the real dogs.
One of the guys that you mentioned that doesn't get a lot of publicity, even though he has a belt, is Angelo Leo. I know that you used to spar him a lot.
Yeah, I've sparred Angelo Leo. We've gone 10, 12 rounds, but he's a great fighter. He's a two-time world champion. Yep. He's a great fighter. I don't take nothing from him. He's I don't want to say he's a cocky fighter or nothing like that. He earned this shit. That's a tough fight. I want that fight. That's a good fight. You know what I'm saying? I would love that fight. But we'll see. You know, gotta dominate this fight and see what's next.
What do you know about Rudy Garcia? Because I mean, I know from what I know, he's a come forward action fighter. But what do you know about him?
Yeah, you know, action fighter, throws punches. You know, I can't look past this guy. You know, I believe I'm capable of stopping him. I'm calling the 7th round. Hey, you know, I'm gonna make that shit happen. But it's gonna be a tough fight. You know, I gotta earn every fucking round. You know, I gotta be me.
Okay, all right, Rice, thank you. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, and we got a monster in town. For more great boxing content from America to Japan and everywhere else in between, make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned, and keep it locked.